folks, welcome in and thanks for joining me on this beautiful winter's day. I'll forgive you if you don't think it's winter looking at this sunshine and clear skies, but I can confirm we are into the last week of June at the moment, so definitely winter, right in the heart of it. So today I'm planning on planting some trees, so I thought I'd show you guys. Now winter being the perfect planting season, the ground's got a lot of moisture in it already. And we've got sort of 2-3 months or more until it dries up. So in that time, we've got time for our trees to get established and those roots to grow before it just starts getting a bit dry. So today I want to show you a couple of my faves. Next to me here, a couple of Tarairi and a couple of Puriri. So Tarairi is probably not as well known of the two, so they're a slow growing species. Beautiful tree, they have a beautiful big fruit on them during the autumn once they're mature, which the Kiruru love, and they're a favourite of mine. I love planting these guys. And the Puriri, well, I think they're very well known, super popular tree, much faster growing than the Tarairi, also a favourite of the Kiruru. So a couple of species I'll show you today. I've been growing these guys up. They're in the 6-litre pot now, so they're well and truly ready to be planted. Now's the perfect time of year. My planting area is just behind me. Down the back of my shed I've got some space which I want to plant out, so I'll show you that now, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do just to get these guys going in the super heavy clay soils that we've got here. Okay folks, this is my planting area just here. Obviously I've got this big white wall at the back of my shed. I want some trees to kind of come up, break that up, lock it off a bit. On this side I've got a bunch of wharariki, the mountain flax, which have been well established. They've been in there 3-4 years, probably more like 5 years actually. And then just behind them I've got a row of harakeke which have only been in here about a year, and they're just coming from divisions which I got. So these guys at the back are probably going to keep growing up quite big. So I've got the space between the two, which I'm going to plant my Puriri and Tarairi, and I think they're going to come up quite nicely. They'll have the harakeke behind them, and then they're going to rise up through there. So that's my plan for today. So I found my first spot here guys for my first Tarairi. Just going to go in here in front of the harakeke. So first step, I'm just going to clear away any debris on the ground. There's a bit of mulch type stuff here. I'll clear that back. Then I'm going to start digging a square hole just slightly wider than this pot. So that's first step. So as I'm digging down through this bloody hard clay, I'm just trying to keep the hole square. So cutting in the sides and digging down. As you can see, it's a super heavy clay base here in our region just here in north of Auckland. I've dug through that heavy clay now team, and we've got ourselves a nice square hole here. So I'm just going to check the depth against the Tarairi pot. I'll pop it in there. So we're about spot on here. The top of the hole is level with the pot, and then we've got another inch or so down to the top of the potting mix. So that's good. That's about the spot on height that we want. So the reason I've dug this hole so square is that we've got such a solid heavy clay base. That's really hard for a tree's roots to penetrate into. If we were to make this circular, there's a danger that once we plant the tree in here, the roots will try and grow out, feel that it's super hard to get through, and just start growing around in a circle like they do in a pot when they can't penetrate outside the plastic. So if we have nice corners, square corners like this, theory is the roots will come out, and instead of just following around a curve, they'll get to a corner and then decide to actually penetrate out into the clay, hopefully. And a couple of other things I'm going to do that will hopefully help the trees grow in this really heavy clay is I'm going to use granulated gypsum. So this will help break up the clay itself once it dissolves through a bit of rain, and it'll just soak into that clay and it helps break it up. So that just helps the roots go through. And in this bucket here I have a bunch of really broken down horse manure. So I'm going to add that as well, and that's just going to give some more nutrients to the plant, and also it's just going to help the roots sort of grow into something soft and easy to grow and to start with, not going to be trying to go straight into that heavy clay. Because this clay is so hard, guys, I'm going to use quite a bit of this gypsum. Like, I don't think it can hurt. So I'm going to add heaps, basically cover the bottom of that hole, that on the side, although it's just going to fall off. And yeah, hopefully that's just going to really just break down that clay a bit so those roots can penetrate down. Now I'm going to add some of my horse manure, and I've busted out the gloves now, it's going to get a bit dirty. I left quite a gap in the bottom there, so I'm going to be pretty generous with this, because it will also break down itself and drop the level a bit. So just spread that through there. This stuff's great, it's really decomposed. There's a lot of nutrients in there, it's full of worms. They're going to help our cause as well, burrowing into the clay and further sort of break down around the hole. So this is awesome stuff, I love it. Just check the level there. So that's probably about right now, it's come up about that inch. And the level of the potting mix is about level with the ground. So that's about where we want to be. Pretty much ready to get this tairari in the ground, so I'm going to give it a bit of a squish around the edges. I'm going to upend it. I have to stand up for that. Alright, here we go. Some pretty good roots at the bottom there, team. This guy's definitely ready to go. Just give that a slight tease out. Pop that in. I want it to be in the center of the hole, and I'll just orient it so that the nice side is growing the way I want it, which I think is going to be that way. And yeah, so that's in the center of the hole. We've got space here for the roots to grow at each side. I'm going to add a bit more of the horse manure. I don't like to have the manure at the top, just because it does have a bit of a tendency to generate weeds. There's some seed and whatnot in there, so I like to just at least have it a bit further down. But I think that's going to give our roots a really good base there. So now I'm just going to start using the clay which I've dug out and packing it back in and around it. I'm going to try and avoid the big lumps like this if I can. So I want to use it a bit more crumbly like this. I don't want it to be too rock solid or on the outside. We still want to be trying to encourage those roots to grow out. Rightio team, that's in the ground there now. Pack my clay in around and given it a bit of a firm down, although I've tried not to be you know, too firm. I don't want to make it rock solid around the tree. Final step now is I'm just going to water this guy in. It is winter and I'm expecting rain at some point, but we always want to give them some water to start with. So there we go, tairari done. Let's get on to the puriri. Okay folks, I've got my spacing sorted now. I'm going to go on to my puriri here, just in front of the harakeke again, back from the wharariki, and I'm just going to repeat exactly what I've done on the tairari. Okay, I've got my hole dug just like the tairari, square hole, depth is the same there, yeah, just below the level of the pot here. So it's good, ready to put all my stuff in. Awesome roots here. Okay folks, so that's the puri in now as well. I've just followed exactly the same method as the Tarairi. It's not a high wind area just here behind the shed. If it was going to be in a more exposed place, I'd look at putting a couple of stakes in with a rope to support these trees, but in here, especially with a bit of coverage from the flaxes, they're not going to get smashed around, so I think they'll be okay without any staking. We also don't have any pests around here like rabbits or anything that's going to predate these trees, so I don't need to put any guard around here. There's nothing going to be nibbling on them. So the only other thing I'll do is before the spring and before the ground starts to dry a bit is I'll put a bit of mulch around these guys so that when it does get dry over the summer, that's going to help retain some moisture in and around the roots, and that's pretty much all there is to it.